Pierre Poilievre is somebody that is a type of leader that Canadians are not used to. This is not a traditional Canadian political leader. He could be described as the most online political leader that we've ever seen in how he conducts himself, how he runs his campaign. It is very American to a lot of Canadians. Um, and with regard to Poilievre and his rise in Canada, again, you can point to our history as the roadmap for this. Very similarly to how we can point to American history as the roadmap for Trump. While Canada has certainly done more to look back on our history and the road to reconciliation, we have a truth and reconciliation process that we have gone through, but it's barely scratched the surface, and there's a reason why it's called truth and reconciliation, not truth, reconciliation, and accountability. We many people in Canada, myself included, and people in my circles, I put the blame for where we are right now on the shoulders of both Liberals and NDP. And in many ways, especially the NDP, for not responding to the moment and not standing up to Poilievre in ways that would have maybe been a clear resistance to this kind of onslaught. And I'm talking back when he first started to really rise up as the leader in around the trucker protests. There was moments when we could have had a different outcome to the road that we're currently on. The NDP had numerous opportunities to swing extremely left, doing the kind of policy initiatives that Desmond talked about with housing and climate and things that, populist policies that would have really launched a challenge to Poilievre and the kind of populism that he has put forward that is clearly popular in Canada. That especially out west, this like loyalty to oil and gas, this, connecting the oil and gas industry to Canadian patriotism and the sort of dominionism that we do see coming out of the histories of colonialism and white supremacy. It's all connected, right? When you study these systems, it's not surprising where we are right now in both of our countries. Both countries have undemocratic voting systems, and we've done, our leaders have done everything to maintain that status quo. Even in Canada, when we had a few elections ago, the Liberals ran on changing the voting system. That was the main point of 2015's election, saying this will be the last run on first past the post. First thing they did when they were elected is they reversed that policy and nope, we're not going to do that after all. As soon as they figured out that if they did change the voting system, then it would ensure that it wasn't just a liberal and conservative likely majority government in power. So all of these moments of opportunism, these missed opportunities from the left, have all played into this. And then of course the fragmenting of the left, the populace, has also played into this. We don't have a solid anti-war movement to stand up against Trump. Where's the media to really highlight the left in Canada? I don't think I've ever seen really left-wing perspectives on our mainstream media. So we have only ourselves to blame for creating an environment that is fertile for a far-right extremist like Pierre Poilievre.
Samira, Desmond, anything you want to add to
what
that
Andrea
before we kind of
said.
talk about what comes next?
I mean, Pierre Poilievre is a man for these times. And I firmly agree with Andrea that we created this monster because I don't think people responded to him the way they should have. He has really become a figure. He's almost like the little brother that Trump wouldn't let in the room when they were growing up together. Pierre Poilievre recently did this interview with Jordan Peterson, and I think it was like 12 hours long. I couldn't sit through the entire thing, but it was all about wokeism and DEI, and these are the same things that you're hearing in the US. Across the administration right now in the United States, wokeism is the enemy. Diversity, equity, inclusion are the reasons why planes are going down. Like this is what we're actually seeing being replicated in our country. And a lot of the politicians who know that it's wrong, and I'm speaking about the Liberals and the NDP, are not pushing back on it the way they should be. I know that, you know, a lot of the things that Pierre Poilievre says are ridiculous, but they're also dangerous, because they're not being taken seriously. You know, and you know, it's unfortunate because in a lot of ways, I always, you know, I'd like to think that Canada is better than that, but we end up just replicating what, you know, our neighbors to the south are doing politically, unfortunately, because you have figures. And, you know, I don't know if we're going to touch on this, but I think it's really important that Gaza, Palestine, and what's happening over there has really influenced and affected our politics here. A lot of our politicians here in Canada are using what is happening in Gaza as a platform for themselves to try and garner support, in the federal election that is coming up, and a lot of them are making some big mistakes in the way they're responding.